Levovitz, are we clear? We're on a different device now. Give me a thumbs up if we're clear. Thank you. Thank you. You didn't. I was hoping, actually, I want to be clear, but I was hoping I would get the wave out of you. Do a wave. What would you have said if we weren't clear? Excellent, Morty. Excellent. You have it down. You have it down. Very important. Fantastic. Fantastic, Morty. So I want to thank everybody for coming on. If it's not so clear, Morty, please give me a Simon if it's not so clear. I don't see right now. I'm not zeicher to see everybody. I see only Yeshua Weiss, Morty Levovitz, and Ruvain. In a few minutes, hopefully, we'll get everybody on. So Morty, I need you to tell me. I see Ruvain, Morty, and Yeshua Weiss. Shua, thank you for being here, Shua Weiss. I want to meet in person, Shua. Are we, Shua? Oh, I heard the videos choppy, but the sound's clear. Okay, good, Shua. Excellent. Okay. We're working on the computer. I want to first share, two of my friends taught me something that before we begin, I want to share with the Chevra. I'm talking about Moshe Gross, a precious friend, Moshe Gross, and Ezra Shulman, two of my close friends, taught me something that I want to share with everybody here. I thank you for being here and hope this will be meaningful to you like it was to me. Before the share, I was pacing my house, and one of my sons asked me about me being nervous, that you look nervous. So I didn't get a chance. I want to tell him now. He's actually working on the computer, so he's not going to get to hear this. I want to teach you something and share with you something that Moshe Gross taught me. To set the scene, Ezra Shulman last night taught the Chevra brilliantly. A Bacher said, one of our precious friends, said to Ezra Shulman last night before the Odes. So they said to Ezra, I'm very, very nervous. So Ezra said, great, it's going to be a good production then. And I want to explain what Ezra was saying and what Moshe Gross taught me. We were playing a basketball game earlier this year. We were playing it. We have a preseason basketball league that we play in. And we play very high level competition. And we were playing against a team that was really, really good. And they have a guy who possibly is going to go to Division I, an excellent ball player who Pashtus is going to go to Division I. At the very least, Division II, but Pashtus, he's going to Division I. And the guys, there was like an excitement. The gym was actually pretty full for this game, and there was an excitement. Moshe Gross huddles up the team, and he says to the guys, do you feel, he's firing up the team. And he says to the team, are you nervous? Do you have that great nervous energy? And he describes exactly the nervous energy that we all felt before a big game. And he said, isn't it great, that nervous energy? Let's turn it into a great performance. And he described the great nervous energy, and he went out and scored, I think, like 45 points. He put on a show the likes of which I've never seen a guy in Waterbury basketball put on a show like that. And he beat this incredible team with this guy going to Division I. He put on an amazing show, and the team put on a great show. And I want to explain what he was saying. It's very important for anybody who cares about mussar and working on themselves. Before Zman, I always feel a lot of nerves. And when I talk to myself, I'm always extremely nervous before Zman, to the point that it's difficult to sleep and difficult to eat. And I always tell myself that it's so important you feel these nerves. I wonder if I didn't feel these nerves, it probably is a sign that I shouldn't be teaching Torah. What are the nerves coming from? Because we're all getting together to learn, to grow, because of the seriousness of the task. If a guy is nervous before a big game, what does it mean? The game's important. He values this. It's exciting. He wants to win badly. You're nervous precisely because you feel this is something important. You can channel and think, wow, how lucky am I to play in a game that I get nervous about. Here I'm coming. I have an opportunity to learn with Morty Levovitz, with Shua Weiss, with Ruben Markowitz, and with everybody here. The nerves about what we're going to learn together, will it come out clear? Will the idea be articulated properly? Means there's a precious opportunity. Talk to yourself about the opportunity, about the responsibility, about the possibility. The nerves themselves. I imagine in sports, pardon my mind that thinks often in sports, Mishalem, an old player who's no longer nervous about the game should probably retire. It means the game doesn't matter to him anymore. The 42-year-old pitcher, he knows when to retire when he doesn't have the jitters before a big start, because that means he doesn't have the competitive juices flowing inside of him. At the point that the game so matters and he wants to win and he wants all the cheering fans to have a great afternoon, a great evening of baseball, so the game matters to him, then he can channel up all the strength to pitch a good game. At the point that he gets up in the morning, there's a game today, so he doesn't care about people's experiences. It's not an important thing to him. He's probably done from baseball. Often nervous energy is very, very important. And if we learn self-talk, we're nervous, we're afraid, and all different things, we can actually channel and think about it. What's the task at hand? What do I want to do? And we can channel nerves into a powerful performance, into a powerful opportunity, into a powerful experience. The Bacher was nervous. He's about to say a rhyme, speaking about his friend in public. So, of course, what's this one going to think? What's that one going to say? But then he can talk to himself. I have a chance. I want to praise a friend. I want to do something precious, and I want to speak my feelings. And he has a chance to, he obviously understands his opportunity. And he can then channel those nerves into a great experience. What Moshe Gross taught the team, basketball is cute. And the game was fun. But what he taught us that day when he told them, do you feel the nerves? Are you guys feeling the tension in here before the big game? Aren't we excited? Look, that means we get the chance to play in a big game. Celebrate, enjoy, and let it out. And then he goes and scores 45 points, guides the team, will play great to win a big game. That is the self-talk. And that is the way to channel and take external emotions and feelings. But with working out and self-talk, it can turn into actually great opportunities. So I like that a lot. It meant a lot to me. I have a lot of stage fright from youth. I've been called up different times. I was called up to Lane Af Torah in front of 10 men in a shul, and I couldn't do it. I had stage fright as a youngster, and still it exists. To talk to a mass is a big achrayus, a big responsibility, but a person can then talk themselves through it. And what we spoke about in the internal world, there's so much a person can channel nervousness and turn it into something good, into something positive. So thank you, Moshe Gross, for that lesson. Ezra Shulman last night, you were spot on. Thank you so much. I want to study a Ramban today and a sugya today on Parshas Kedoshim. Rav Ezi gets upset at me if I apologize for speaking about the past week's Parsha, but Kedoshim's hard to let go of. So I'm not even going to apologize in deference to Rav Ezi. Please work with me, Rabbi Say. Perek Yotes Pasuk Yodalid. Loisikalel cherish. Don't curse a cherish, a mute person. V'lifnei iver loisitein mechshal. In front of a blind person, don't put a stumbling block. V'yareisa mi'alekecha ani Hashem, fear God. Now there's a shaila in the Achrayim. If when it says v'lifnei iver loisitein mechshal, don't put a stumbling block in front of a blind person, is one over lifnei iver if literally there are people, fives tend to be very literal. I don't know if you know literal thinkers. Literal thinkers are some of the coolest people in the world. They tend to take things literally. I once wrote a brilliant friend, one of my most precious friends, who's a brilliant mind. I once wrote him a letter by text expressing my excitement to who he is. And I ended the letter, love, Daniel Kalish. And he texted back to me, I'll try. So, okay, you can laugh a little. I don't have the full screen. So thank you, Shua Weiss, for laughing. And Ruvain and Ruvain and Mordechai. I don't have the full screen. I hope you found that funny. I thought it was funny. But they're literal thinkers. I want to know, it says in the pasuk with Ne'iver loisitin mechshal, don't stumble a blind guy. Don't make him stumble. Don't put a stumbling block in front of a blind person. I want to know if you literally, it means certainly not to make somebody nechshal na'avera. And the Achrayim want to know if somebody would put something in front of a blind guy, is he over lifnei iver? Does he transgress lifnei iver? The literal pshat, for the literal amongst us. It's a very important question. And I want to propose, Lefi Rashi, you are not over. You do not transgress lifnei iver. It's not, I am not engaged in mental gymnastics, my friend. I'm learning Torah with you. And there's a visual here that I think if you don't think about this, you're going to miss Rashi's shot in the pasuk and be entirely off. Most people visualize, the visual of Lifnei Iver is the literal. A blind guy's walking down the road and you put a stumbling block, so that's the literal. And then use your, if you have that visual, you understand any person you trick. I think you've learned wrong pshat lefi Rashi. Please listen well. That understanding is you're thinking Hashem is saying a vulnerable person, and Iver is vulnerable. A blind guy is very vulnerable because he doesn't see, obviously. He's liable to trip on things. So Hashem is saying, don't mess up a vulnerable guy. I think that's wrong pshat in the pasuk. You've misunderstood Hashem's words completely. If you think, Lefi Rashi, Hashem is not saying, don't get a vulnerable guy. It's wrong pshat in the pasuk. That's not what Hashem's communicating, Lefi Rashi. It's true, people who are vulnerable. If that would tell me, that pshat Lifnei Iver would say, if a Rebbe is dealing with a young kid, a parent's dealing with a 5-year-old, he's vulnerable to you. Be careful when somebody's vulnerable to you. The idea is a very nice idea. That is not how Rashi's learning this pasuk. That shot, a guy is blind. He's vulnerable. He can easily trip. Don't make him trip. That is not what Rashi's saying. You have not understood a pshat in Chumash. You're learning wrong pshat. What Rashi is saying, Rabbi say, and what Rashi learns a pasuk Chumash with us means, it has nothing to do with his vulnerability. An Iver is somebody, when it says a person's blind, it means if you'll never get caught. He's an Iver B'davar, he's blinded, he'll never know you did wrong. Lifnei Iver Leisite Mechshal, the visual is when you can't be caught, because the person will, it's such a bad picture. When you put a rock in front of a blind guy, you could be caught. You were actually caught. When he falls, he'll know what you did. And even if he can't see, somebody else will see what you did. That's cruel. That's not what Hashem's saying. That's cruelty. Of course, you shouldn't be cruel. There are many psukim in the Torah. What Hashem is saying here is when somebody will never know. Rashi says when you give advice to somebody for your own benefit and they won't know that you wronged them. I'll give a mashal. We get a few slots a year for a bacher to go to Torah's Chaim, to the yeshiva Torah's Chaim. Let's say a bacher says, Kalish, should I go to this yeshiva or Torah's Chaim? And for me, it's better he goes to another yeshiva because that opens up another slot. It's lifnei iver, it's an isser dairaisa to tell him a bad place for him for my benefit, and that I'll never be caught. You can deny, I just was saying your best advice. It has nothing to do with the vulnerability of the person. It has to do with not being able to be caught. Means even when you will never be caught, don't put down a stumbling block. There's Yirah Shamayim, there's God. You will never be caught. Nobody will ever know. Still, be careful. There's Yirah Shamayim. You answer to Hashem. Asuma b'davar. Lefi Rashi, it's pasha to me that if you physically put down a stumbling block in front of an Iver, not only are you not Iver, you missed pshat in the pasuk. That wasn't what Hashem was trying to communicate. This to me seems pashut, Rabbi say, and everybody should please understand what Hashem is saying. When you'll never be caught, it's completely mussar l'leiv. He's a summa b'davar doesn't mean before he falls. The summa, ironically, after he falls, knows what you did. And by the way, somebody else tells him the cruel act you did. It means the picture is somebody who will never know what you did. He's a summa b'davar. He's blind. It doesn't mean literal at all. To somebody who's a summa, and Rashi says that as pshat. Why did Rashi say asuma b'davar loisiten eitz sheina genesloi? Rashi says somebody who's blinded about this matter. Why did Rashi explains pshat? Why did Rashi say the pshat? And then the pshat tells you other ideas because it's not simple pshat. It means a summa b'davar, somebody who's blinded about the matter, who will never see and discover. Don't give him a bad eitzah, bad advice. He'll never know what you did to him. He's a summa b'davar. He's blinded on the matter to never see, and nobody will ever know. Don't give him bad advice. That is what the pasuk with Ne'iva Leisite Mechshal is saying. Pashut pshat. So now Rabbi say, with that understanding, that the Yirah Shamayim, to me always, the people I want to ask advice, I was zeicha to be able to ask eitzes for a Gissinger, Zatzal Zeichet Sadik Levracha. My wife and I would ask advice. He was brilliant, he was kind, but a big reason I would ask him eitzes because I felt I saw Yirah Shamayim, fear of heavens. There was sincerity. We can ask people, but people might have agendas. There was one thing, Yirah Shamayim, what's right, what's true. In inner Yirah Shamayim, people can give advice, people can be strong, people can be brilliant, but we have to always have Yirah Shamayim. Hashem knows the thoughts of our hearts. Make sure we're being emistic, we're being truthful. That is v'yareisam elokecha ani Hashem. Even when you will never be able to be called out, nobody will ever know. But it wasn't emes, but it wasn't true Yirah Shamayim. When asking eitzes, in giving eitzes, you have this pasuk. Lifnei iver loisite michshal have Yirah Shamayim. The best person to ask advice. Do not take an IQ test. Don't ask the biggest IQ. Don't ask the biggest lamdim. If you want to ask advice, find someone who seems to have Yirah Shamayim, fear of heavens. Do we know for sure? If it appears to us there's Yirah Shamayim, there's fear of heaven, so then that's the person to speak eitzah from. They'll give an eitzah hagenes, because there we'll never know. Not we're vulnerable before. We're vulnerable that we can never know. The Yareisa Me'alekecha takes Yirah Shamayim. That is what Pashup Pshat in the Pasuk is Lefi Rashi. Now I want to learn, Rabbi Say, the first three words. Loisekalel cheresh. Don't curse. Don't curse. Yirah Shamayim means awareness of Hashem. A person who lives, the Bladder Mishpacha wanted an exact translation, a person who lives, that what we spoke, the opposite of codependence, a person who lives with an inner world. Him and Hashem, her and Hashem, a person who lives with that truth, that honesty and sincerity, me and Hashem. that person will not give an Eitz Hashem against. They live with an awareness of Hashem. Now I want to learn the beginning of the pasuk, and this is the main topic of today, and I hope this is game-changing. Please listen to the beginning of the pasuk. Says the pasuk, Leisekalel cheresh, don't curse a cheresh. Now says Rashi, you're not allowed to curse any yid. Why does it say a cheresh? Why does it say don't curse a mute person? You can't curse anybody. Says Rashi, Rabbi said we're going to switch phones. It's a little choppy. We're going to switch devices.
Hang up from one of them so it's not mute. It's not echoed.
Second.
Ask what's clear.
I don't see anybody now. Is it clear, Rabbi Isai? I'm going to ask Yaakov to tell me if it's clear now. Mayor Davidson, are we clear now? Give a thumbs up if we're clear now. Mayor's on my screen. Thumbs up if it's clear. Excellent. We will have back the computer tomorrow. I want to get to see. I see Mayor Davidson, Ruben, and Yaakov Moshe. The video is choppy. We will have the computer back tomorrow. I asked Michaela to the Chevra. We'll have the computer. We'll have back our clear picture, the visual tomorrow. Leisekalel cheresh, the beginning of the pasuk says, don't curse a mute person. Says Rashi, why did it say a mute person? Of course, the Isser is to curse anybody in Klal Yisrael. It said a mute person who has the minimum amount of chayus. He has some life. Even a mute person don't curse. It means somebody who's b'chayim, somebody who's alive, as opposed there's no Isser to curse a dead person. That's how Rashi says, Leisekalel cheresh, don't curse a living person as opposed to a person who's not alive. The Ramban argues on Rashi, and the Ramban says a different shot. The Ramban says in Parsha Shemais, the Torah says, Elokim leisekalel, v'nasi ba'amcha leise'ar. The Ramban says that the pasuk in Shemais says, don't curse a dayan and don't curse a nasi. Says the Ramban, the two psukim are saying the chashuvim of the am. It says a nasi or a dayan don't curse is the chashuvim of the am, and it says a cheresh is umlalim shabam, the most oppressed, and we learn from there shara as well. So Hashem has two psukim. In Shemais, Hashem says don't curse the most chashuv people in Klal Yisrael. In Parshas Kedoshim, he says the most oppressed. The people who have the toughest lives don't curse, and it means everybody in between as well. That's how the Ramban learns. That is what Hashem is saying. In Shemais, it says the most prestigious. In Kedoshim, it says the most suffering of the nation. And then we understand that it means everybody else as well in Klal Yisrael. That's the Ramban's first shot. Comes the Ramban, and this is what I want to talk about today. The Ramban's second shot, Rabbi said. The Ramban says al derech hapshat, that it says don't curse a cheresh. Says the Ramban, ki af al pishu yishmav leyistatzef. Even though he'll never hear and he won't be mad when you curse him, his hirat Torah olav, the Torah warns about him. Certainly somebody who will hear and be embarrassed and be very angry, you shouldn't curse. It means that you shouldn't curse even the cheresh who won't hear, who won't be mad, still don't curse him. Obviously somebody who's embarrassed don't curse. So that's what Hashem means. Leisekalel cheresh, don't curse a person who's mute, who will not be angry and will not hear, and certainly somebody who will hear. Now here Rabbi say is the key for Rabbi say. What is Hashem saying? Don't curse a person who won't hear. Why not? He's not going to hear. Now, if you learn that it means he'll be told later on, somebody will tell him later on, so then he's not a cheresh. Then he will find out. Of course you shouldn't curse him. There's no chiddush. The whole pshat is the beginning and end of the pasuk. Remember, it's one pasuk. Lifnei iver means even when nobody will ever know you did wrong, don't do it. So l'sekalel cheresh means don't. It's in the same pasuk and the same ending. V'yoreisem Elokecha ani Hashem. It means nobody will ever know you cursed him. He's never going to find out. He's a cheresh, and you only did it in front of him. There was nobody around. He's not angry, and he didn't hear you. Don't curse him. Says the Ramban, V'yareisem Elokecha, Hashem's raya nistaros. Hashem sees hidden things. Hashem knows what you're doing. Fear Hashem, V'yareisem Elokecha. Don't curse the cheresh, even though nobody will ever know what you did. And my question to you is why is it bad to curse him? Nobody will ever know. Why is it bad to curse him? So what I want to say, Rabbi Say, and this is the key point, and this is something we speak about often. When we look at somebody in a negative way, here the guy cursed the cheresh never heard us curse him. And nobody was around to tell him, otherwise it wouldn't be in this pasuk. But it means that we held of him negative. The words meant nothing because he didn't hear and nobody was around. But since we looked at him in a negative light, it impacts him and it does damage. Have yira shamayim and look at every yid in a positive way. It's mussar l'leiv, cursing equivalent of looking at a yid in a negative way. Nobody will ever know. You can have a yid you just look at. I never said a bad word. I kept Hilchos Lashon Hara. I never said a bad word, but it's mussar l'leiv. Hashem knows that you didn't hold of that yid, and it does damage. He can never call you out on it. People are damaged by Areinayim looking bad at a person. That is the pasuk v'yareisem Elokecha. Fear Hashem. Have yira shamayim v'yareisem Elokecha. We did damage to the person. That is pashup shad in the Ramban. Loisekalo cheresh. Even somebody we never said a bad word to. He didn't hear and he's not angry. Don't be mekalel him. Thank you. Don't be mekalel that person. It does damage to that person. Pashup shad in the Ramban. Value people, respect. Hashem sees our lave. Work on it hard. It's my honor, Rabbi Say, we're zeichet to have Rav Ezi Shlita. I apologize that it's glitchy today. I'll ask Rav Ezi will be clear, Be'ezer Hashem, and we're fixing the computer. If I can ask Nachum, if you can please, I'm not capable of going to somebody today. Rav Nachum, if you can get Rav Ezi on now, and Rav Ezi will ask to hear, we'll get somebody singing. Rav Ezi, please, Nachum, hit it, and let's get Rav Ezi to share Divrei Torah.
He's unmuted. He's on.
Rav Ezi Shlita,
I'm good.
the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Rebbe. Is Rebbe there? Hold on one second. Nachum, can I ask you, is it fine or is it echoey?
You're good.
Okay, thank you so very much. I just wanted to know, is the Rebbe there or has he left us for just a bit?
I'm very much here, Rav Ezi.
Okay, good. I just wanted to tell Rebbe something that I thought was an interesting episode. Literally hours before Rebbe was talking about the codependency, where he spoke about it Sunday and then continued on Sunday night by the Pirkei Avos shir. It's amazing what took place literally hours before Rebbe spoke about that. There was I received a telephone call from somebody who I'm close to, like an old Waterbury Talmud. He was telling me about how much he has appreciation for like a few select individuals, Rabbeim there in the yeshiva, and he felt
he felt he wanted to call me, and I was the first person. He told me I'm the first person he's calling, and it meant a very great deal to me. This was mamish right before Rebbe gave the schmooze on codependency, and it really was very meaningful to me. And I was listening to him. He's describing how he has tremendous hakaras hatov, but he wanted to express it to just a few select people. And I was the first person that he called. And my heart is swelling. And he says, I called you first because I know you're going to have all their numbers. So I need the following phone numbers of the people I want to be makir tov to. That's what he said. And of course, the first person he mentioned was Rebbe. And he also asked me, I just wanted to say how he asked me why, he was hesitant to express appreciation to the Blue Ridge Row specifically. He was concerned maybe like Rebbe doesn't appreciate it when we are gushing with appreciation and everything. And I told him what I felt. I told him that I think, based on what Rebbe has said as schmooze many times about how a human being who knows, you gave the mussar with Rav Asher Shlita when someone expressed appreciation for the shir that he gave, that he showed that it meant something, the person's expression. So I told him that there's no question that Rebbe, as a gracious person, would be accepting of the appreciation. But for our sake, on our part, there's no question that we definitely should be unashamed to express our appreciation. Rebbe, on behalf of the whole Olam, I'm going to say that I hope you didn't leave yet, but I want to say on behalf of everybody how much we appreciate daily, not only that you're giving us a share, that you bring us all together. It's become very clear that the connection and the love that has been generated between us completely and solely because of the shiurim is thanks to the Rebbe. So I'm going to express on behalf of them. I think everyone is of one mind and one heart in expressing appreciation to Rebbe for all that he's done and every single day to come out here and share with us. So we thank you so very much, Rebbe, for these shiurim and the chizuk and the encouragement and the camaraderie and the love and the connection that's been created, the relationship that the Rebbe's created between all of us. I want to thank you very much for that. I just want to...
Thank you a lot. Thank you.
I wish I could see you, of course, but for some reason, I'm having the same issue that Rebbe has with the devices. I want to say something, just one thing, talk about codependency. I'm going to say something that is, I felt to be appropriate. Now I counted number 26 last night, and with my experience, that's no indication that was the correct number. But me personally, I counted 26. Mayor Davidson, I see you up there. Did you also count the same? Give me a thumbs up. What did you count last night? Thumbs up if you counted 26. Okay, I don't have your vote. Ruvain, you counted 26 last night? Excellent. Okay, I'm a good company. So I'm thinking that we're more than halfway past the summer closest to Shavuos, and I wanted to share something. I'm being somewhat codependent on a schmooze that I saw where he said something. I saw it. It was given in Yiddish, and Baruch Hashem, there were subtitles. So there were a few words that actually stuck out. I didn't understand what they meant at the time, and I wrote them down, and then I looked back at the subtitles. But he said something that I thought was very beautiful that I wanted to share. It says there were a few hours. He was talking about how, to his understanding, the learning of Torah that we do, when we make a bracha, when we say V'kisa b'yom v'layla, it's nitdaf gelernt, and it doesn't specifically refer to the study or even the thinking in Torah. He called it an emotionalia verbunden, an emotional connection, an emotional attachment to the divrei Torah. And he pointed out that Yeshua was told, he had a few hours that I want to share. V'kisa b'yom v'layla, Yeshua was told that he should be v'kisa b'y. He should be v'kisa b'yom v'layla. What is yom v'layla? The way the Rav expressed it in, I suppose, b'derech drush, is that yomam is a reference to when things are going very well. This yomam in person has successes in life. Every one of us have times that we're successful. Laila represents the times that we're in darkness, that we're not doing well, that we're in a bad mood. And he described that today it's very, very popular, many different ways to treat people that are not doing well emotionally and mentally. Meine therapia, he calls Torah the ultimate therapy. That it's there for us. And Yeshua was told when he's going into Eretz Yisrael, Yeshua, there are going to be times that you'll be very successful. And there are going to be times that you won't be. There was a Mechanes Ai where Yeshua suffered many losses. He lost the battle. The Gisa Bayam V'Laila is not merely saying that you should study Torah day and night. That as well, maybe even primarily. But it's also saying the Torah should be there for you as something that comforts you, as a comfort. Yaimam V'Laila, even in the difficult times. He had a beautiful expression where he noticed that it says that we have two different nischos when we say a bracha on the al divrei Torah. So we say every morning make a bracha asher kitshanu tzivanu lasik b'divrei Torah. The nusach harif, the svardim, the mechaber paskins that you don't say lasik, you say bracha al divrei Torah. He asked, why don't we say a bracha milmay Torah? What's al divrei Torah? Lasik asik haTorah lasik b'divrei Torah. There should be a bracha. We're making a bracha on limud haTorah. Asher kitshanu v'mitzvaysa tzivanu lilmay Torah. No Rishon has an opinion that you should say lilmud Torah, either al divrei Torah or lasik b'divrei Torah. So he explained. He brought a raya that the Mishnah describes by the Zion Krivim when even by a kain who's mutter to be Isaac b'meis by Tumas Krivim, the Mishnah has a lashon not mutter, mitzvah. Rabbi, you hear, Rabbi? A mitzvah to be Isaac b'meis. So the Mishnah has a lashon is asek b'meis, that he's Isaac in it. It's a loved one passes, so a person has a certain connection in Isaac and Asik to be with that Karav, that dearly departed, that loved one that has passed on. This Asik b'meis. To be Isaac b'divrei Torah is not strictly limited to the learning of Torah. I always like to say over the Mishnah Berurah. The Mishnah Berurah asks, he brings from the Beis Yosef, why is it whenever we have an interruption, he's discussing specifically in this Sivkatan that I like to quote, he's discussing after we leave the Beis HaKisei, we don't make a bracha, Asher Kitshanu, we don't make a bracha of Lasik HaTorah. You were mafsik. Why is it different from any other mitzvah? If you stop doing the mitzvah, if you had a hefsek and now you're going to go back to learn, so a yid uses the facilities, he should make an Asher Yatzah, he should make Birchas HaTorah. The Mishnah Berurah has a kasha. Why don't we do that? And it's klar in Shulchan Aruch that you don't do that. Thank you, Bladder Mishpacha. I really love that you're showing me that you're with me always. Thank you. Yeah, the Maggid Talumos. If you don't mind, the Bladder Mishpacha remind me that one of the Sfarim held that if a Yid goes ahead and he does, in the Maggid Talumos it says that if a Yid, Rahman al-Islam, does an Aveira, so he held, la'alacha v'le'lamaisa, you mechuyev to make Birchas HaTorah, because you were mastic, you went and did it, and you did an Aveira, somebody says Lashon Hara, now he wants to go learn, he wonders, why don't you have to make a Birchas HaTorah? Thank you, Vlad Mishpach. I don't know exactly which one of you, I'm sure probably all of you. But in any event, the Mishnah Berurah describes that when a person after he believes himself, there's no Birchas HaTorah, Av Sham Hayuchai B'dinah. There's no part of us, when we make a bracha of Lasik B'divrei Torah, it's clear from the Beis Yosef, it's a bracha on our being, making it part of our personality. We don't say like we say in Avarabba, Lilmaid Lamid, Lahavin Lahaskil, we're asking for understanding. In the Birchas HaTorah, in the primary Birchas HaTorah, that's not what we ask for. We're asking the Harevna. We're asking it should be sweet. It's something that should be precious to us. It's something should be a primary focus. Kulanu Yaidei Shemecha. Yaidei Shemecha is not strictly limited to when a person's learning. Yaidei Shemecha means a certain recognition, a certain appreciation of a mission, a certain appreciation of a life's mission, of a life's focus that's primary in a life. Rebbe spoke last night about Asay Torah Keva. And I think over here, when we say a bracha of a haravna, that we should be Yaidei Shemecha, it's a bracha, beseeching Hashem, it's a prayer asking that it should be something, not merely that we should be able to learn, and not merely that we should enjoy the learning, but also that it should be something that's incorporated into our personality. I'm going to be bold enough to make two suggestions, just that it should be more aside from just a lofty ideal, to make it more practical. Number one, that which the great Reb Meilach Biederman, which I think, Rebbe, when we were learning the Rambam, we decided that he has the Yichus Mashiach today, right, Rebbe? In any event, the Reb Meilach Biederman was making sure he was giving us azharas. He was giving chizuk in these days that some people, their birchas hatayra is like tfilas haderech, and the birchas haderech is a beautiful tefillah that you say when you're on the way to go somewhere at a great distance. You make a bracha that you should repeat it on the way. We should try very much to make it that our birchas hatayra is not like our tfilas haderech, that it looks kind of different. Tfilas haderech is while we're going on the way. We should have a kfiyas when we make a birchas hatayra, focus, especially in these days leading up to Matan Torah. We have a focus when we make a bracha, the harivna, kulanu yedei shmecha, lasik b'divrei seira, a bracha focusing that I want the Torah to become part, that I live al pi Torah, that I live with the ideals, that I study daily, that it becomes part of me. That would be my first suggestion, to try to be more focused, more kavua when we make the birchas hatayra daily. Also, I think a wonderful eitz, it just eitz a type of kamash malan, especially in these times where we don't have a normal schedule, we don't have our normal chavrusas. Find some inyan, some limud that's specifically exciting and specifically enjoyable to you and you alone. Not what's outside of the Seder Yeshiva. If it's as small as 5 minutes, if it's small as 10 minutes, whatever it is, a Seder that's uniquely special and connected to you. Everybody has some aspect or chilek of Torah that they connect to on a more personal level than anybody else. Find your chilek, find something that speaks to you that's much more personal than just something that you were told to do. We're not in the yeshivas now, and even if we have Siddur Yeshiva, there's no question that everybody could find some time and some limud that they connect to on a specifically personal and more intimate level. Rebbe, I want to thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. And I wanted to share one of the ha'ara that Manny said. I said it previously. So if anybody wants, I gave a little bit, like 6-minute shear, or whatever you want to call it, a 6-minute Dvar Torah, quoting Manny Kalish from what he said. He defined the beautiful ha'ara, why we call an ignoramus an am ha'aretz, a beautiful ha'ara. So I was going to say it over now, but I think I'm a little bit over my time. I want to thank Rebbe for joining us. Is Matt here? If Rebbe's not here, I'm going to ask Matt to join. I'm going to be.
For a second, I am here, Revezi. I wanted to thank Revezi tremendously for his divrei Torah. I wanted to thank everybody for joining. I apologize today. We had a little complications. We will be back tonight at 8:30, back to the clear channel, Be'ezeh Hashem, and we'll get back to a clear video, and it will be clear tonight. I wanted to thank Yoel Kramer for being here and for last night, his beautiful words. Penny Schachter, it means a lot. We will get to hear from Penny, Be'ezeh Hashem, in future days. Yosef Groman, thank you for last night, for your poem, and thank you for being here. I wanted to just close out, Rabbi Say, and tonight and tomorrow we have back our clear recordings. We'll hear more music. I wanted to just clarify, after we see both pshatim, the entire pasuk is dealing with sins that nobody ever knows. Means when nobody ever knows. Don't cause somebody to stumble, even when nobody knows, Hashem sees. Means don't curse somebody even when nobody knows, which is a basic tzivui, the Ramban's second pshat, not to look down at people. It does damage. The person will never call you out on it. When you look down at somebody and curse somebody who never is going to hear and never going to know, only Hashem will know, it still leaves an impact. It's not just talking about our own midas, it impacts that person. That's begeder leisikal el cheirish, to look down. We're speaking a lot, we're all now in our bunkers, and it's a mitzvah of Yoresa mi'alekecha, us and Hashem, look positively at people. Leisikal el cheirish, Pashup Pshat al derech hapshat of the Ramban. Be very careful, hold of people. Don't curse somebody who will never know that you cursed them. They'll never hear, they'll never be angry. La yishmav la yiskatsev. But the fact that we looked down at them impacted them. The fact that we said something negative, even though we didn't say it to anybody, but that view of them impacts them, they'll never call us out. How many people were hurt and hold their bad, simply they were looked at with bad eyes. We were Mekalo l'cheresh. That is Pashup Pshat, in what the Ramban's learning, Al Derech HaPshat, in this Pasuk. And then it's one Pasuk, L'sekalo l'cheresh, L'fnei L'sikei Mechshel. Even when we can never be called out of it, never be called out for it, let's make sure, V'yareisem Elokecha, let's be mitaher our lave, let's work hard on giving advice that's erlich. Let's work hard on valuing people and causing that goodness to people that they'll never even know. We can look at somebody and hold of them and be a big impact on their life, and they'll never even know. Thank you so much all for joining. Again, I apologize, a little choppy. I apologize, not to put on Penny is like a crime, but it is a little wavy and choppy today. Be'ez Hashem, tonight at 8:30, we will be back. I want to wish a mazel tov. Eli Bernak is making a bris tomorrow morning. The bris should be be'itoy v'zmanoi. Shmegadol l'toyer l'chopel l'maisim toivim. All of us should hear simchas, should celebrate good besurais. Thank you, Rabbi Say, for joining. Have an outstanding day, Rabbi Say. Have a great day.